Dr. A.W.R. Hawkins joins us from the Daily Caller. How you doing tonight, Dr. Hawkins?
Hey, I'm doing great. Good to be with you.
Well, it's good to have you here again. You had a piece a couple days ago, the Daily Caller, the right to keep and bear arms preceded the Second Amendment. And you're going after, this is a response basically to an article in the New Yorker by Harvard professor Jill Lepore called American Battleground. And this is basically... we've talked about this on the program for the past couple of months, the idea that the anti-gun movement now is attacking the very idea of being a gun owner and wanting to exercise your constitutional rights. They're not just talking about specific laws. They're not just saying, we want to get this bill passed or we want to get this court case thrown out. They are saying gun ownership is wrong. Gun ownership is evil. There should be no NRA. I mean, they're frothing at the mouth a little bit.
Oh, you're exactly right. And the point of my article, and I know it's a point that you share with me, Cam, is that our right to keep and bear arms preceded not only the Second Amendment, but the United States of America. It preceded Thomas Jefferson, one of the strongest proponents of private gun ownership. It preceded any American or founding father you can name because God gave it to us at creation. He endowed us as creatures with the right to defend our very lives, the most valuable property we possess. And that's the point we have to put in students in college. We have to put that in students in high school so that they grow up knowing I don't get permission to own a gun from the government. I get the right to own that gun from God.
Absolutely. And to that end, I don't know if you saw the piece. Sean Hannity did this interview with an occupier on, was it last Thursday night? 29 years old, grown man. And he's talking about the things that he has a right to. The right to keep and bear arms did not come up, Dr. Hawkins. But instead, we heard about the right to free dental care, and the right to free health care, and the right to a free college degree, and the right to free housing, and the right to all of these things that must be provided to someone by the state, as opposed to the original concept of what our rights were. Things that weren't granted to us by government. As you say, things that the government couldn't touch. And it was really, was it Roosevelt, or does it go back a little bit further? The idea of this, positive rights, the freedom from want, the freedom from fear, as opposed to the right to free speech and the right to keep and bear arms.
No, you're exactly right. I had a professor, I'll never forget him, Dr. Pete Peterson, and that's how he approached things. He wanted to sneak it in on the students that we don't just have positive rights, but he divided it between positive and negative, and that we have to defend freedom from as well as freedom to. And that was how they were trying to slip their foot in the door back in the Roosevelt administration, to get their foot in the door so that one day they could come in and take our guns or control how many guns we own, so on and so forth.
Well, yeah, and again, you go back and you look at these debates at the time of the ratification, and the debate wasn't over whether or not we had a right to keep and bear arms. The debate was over how best to protect it. Did we need to spell it out specifically in a Bill of Rights? Would that open it up to additional scrutiny? I mean, that was the argument that the framers were having at the time.
Oh, you're exactly right. There was no question about the validity of the right. The question was, how do we best protect the right? Some of the founders believed there's no need to write a protection because common sense tells people that right exists. And other founders, the anti-federalists, thought, no, if we don't have a specific description of the right, a specific protection of the right, government will one day infringe on it. Fortunately, they won out. And although government has infringed to a degree, that protection in the Second Amendment still exists, and that has saved us to this point. And now it's up to us, in turn, to save the Second Amendment.
Talking with Dr. A.W.R. Hawkins from the Daily Caller, and as you say, Dr. Hawkins, there's no way to do it without instructing the next generation about how important the rights are, where they came from in their own history. Because, again, if you don't know about your rights, how on earth can you ever find them important enough to protect?
Oh, you're exactly right, Kim. And a point you brought up earlier when you were talking about the occupier, who when he names rights, he names housing and health care and education. See, he's been fooled. The education apparatus today teaches kids they have human rights. It steers clear of the phrase natural rights. So what the left does is supplants our idea of what is rightly ours, and we grow up thinking, what I have a right to is for Cam to pay for my children's education, my children's health care, so on and so forth, instead of my children growing up. No, what I have is a right to keep and bear arms, a right to possess private property, a right to my own life, a right to be secure in my person, so on and so forth. We need to press the distinction between human rights and natural rights, and we need to be sure our children learn what natural rights are and that they come from God.
Dr. Hawkins, almost out of time tonight, sir, but appreciate you coming on the program as always, and thank you for schooling Harvard professor Jill Lepore.
Thank you, Cam, for having me on. God bless you.